Welcome, everyone, to the This Week I'm Into podcast. I'm your co-host, Pete Tyler. Later on in the episode, we're going to have my friend from grad school, Rebecca Young, coming to join us to talk about birds. But currently, I am with my friend and co-host, Paul Imberguglio. Paul, how are you doing?
I am super excited. Let's fly away with this episode.
Love it. Yes, nailed it. No, you freaking nailed it, man. Well done.
I need to think about this ahead of time. I'm not as improvisational as I wish I could be.
It's so funny. I mean, you know it's coming up every episode, but it's always off the cuff. So you could prepare if you wanted to.
One of them will be funny.
No, hey, don't talk about my friend Paul like that. That was good, man. That was good. Paul, kind of an interesting one today. Normally I start off with, what's your experience with birds? But I'll change it up. I'll say, Paul, if you were a bird, what kind of bird would you be? Put you on the spot.
I'm going to tell you the bird that I think I want to be, and that is an umbrella bird, also my favorite bird.
Ooh, okay. I don't even know what is an umbrella bird, Paul?
I think an umbrella bird is like a tropical bird. I think they're black, and they have this funny thing on their head that goes like this, and it looks like it's covering them like a big jacket hood. I did a project on them in the first grade, and I've loved them ever since. That's about as much as a first grader would know from a project. So,
all right, well, I'm impressed you held on to at least that much for that long. So,
yeah,
there you have it.
It is my favorite bird. You can ask me again in 10 weeks, and I'm pretty confident I'll say the same thing.
Okay. Umbrella bird. I'll also mark on my calendar, ask Paul what bird he is in 10 weeks. So just prepare
Thanks,
for
Siri.
that. Yeah.
All right, what bird are you, Hans?
The bird I want to be most is penguin. Emperor penguin.
Emperor penguin specifically, not those little fuzzy guys.
I still like the little fuzzy guys. But
have you seen that really fat penguin from the zoo? Wait, this is huge. Wait.
No, I'm not sure.
It's an Australian king penguin named Pesto.
Pesto penguin.
Yeah, look up Pesto, the king penguin.
Oh my Lord, he's ginormous.
Yeah. He's basically as big as the adults. He's very cute. It's kind of like him, Moodang, and I think there was one other animal that was like really popular at the same time.
Wait, I love that. Okay. All right. Pesto the penguin is this giant baby penguin. He's pretty fat, and looks like about adult size, even bigger and wider than adult size, even though he has all his baby fur still on. So, Pesto penguin, okay. Yeah, maybe in my heart, I'm a pesto penguin.
I think we all want to be that.
I think so. I absolutely loved March of the Penguins growing up. And so penguins became my favorite animal. I had a bunch of stuffed animal penguins, including one like life-size emperor penguin stuffed animal that I absolutely loved. So I've just been I'm a penguin guy. They're my favorite animal. So I'm going to stick with that.
Okay. Two other really great penguin movies.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Feet.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Something about like penguins in media just makes it automatically a good movie, I think.
I think so too. And they're so good at different skills: dancing, surfing,
marching. Yeah.
They're so athletic.
All three of those are kind of top tier movies. Marching of the Penguins is kind of a little bit of a different vibe, but I'll still.
Is that more Nat Geo? I don't know if I know that movie.
Yeah, it's definitely way more Nat Geo. It's more like it's documentary style. So yeah, it's a good one.
Well,
though.
so is Surf's Up.
Hey, that's true. Good point. Anyway, I would strongly suggest watching all three of those movies. So
you'll learn a lot.
Paul, do you have any experience with birds?
Other than that first grade project, not really. I've seen an Oriole once. I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know if that's rare in Washington, D.C.
That makes sense because Baltimore Orioles is right there.
Somewhere
so I
nearby.
guess they would live in that space.
I believe that I could catch a pigeon if I wanted to. Just one of those, like you're walking by the street and it like kind of walks away from you a little too slowly, like you think you could have just like snagged it.
Yeah, they're just too used to humans that they're like too comfortable. So you could easily,
I could do it.
I think you could too. I would say like my own experience with birds is also like none. But I do remember when I was in elementary school, we had this cool field trip where we went into the foothills of Boise, and we had a tour guide who knew all about the birds of prey. And I remember thinking it was really cool. And he had like the falcon glove. You know how falconers like have that thick, almost oven mitt looking glove. So he had birds land on top of it, which was really cool. And then he also dissected an owl pellet in front of us. So that was poopy. Interesting. Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, owls like eat, mice whole, or, certain types of owls. But the owls that live in Boise, they eat like mice whole. Who? And then what?
Sorry.
Anyway, I'm actually ashamed of myself that I didn't get it for a long time.
It didn't make sense.
But anyway, owls eat mice whole. And then the parts that they can't digest, like the fur and the bones, they cough it like back up, like almost like a hairball. And it comes in this big old pellet. So you can dissect the pellet and see the mice bones and stuff.
Oh, I didn't know they vomited that back up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. At least that's stuck with me since elementary school. So I guess that's pretty cool.
Oh, at the you just got me thinking about why I know birds. At the Seattle Zoo, they used to, at the very least, I haven't been in a long time, have peacocks that just kind of roamed around, just like around the grounds. That was pretty cool.
Like not in an exhibit, but like
they could just roam around.
That's awesome. Yeah. Did you get a picture of the peacock ever?
I'm sure at some point as a kid.
Somewhere. If you dig in the archives, you could find it.
Yeah. And then at the North Carolina State Fair, the most recent year that I went, maybe 2 years ago, there was a Birdman as like one of the like traveling shows, and he had like a bunch of little birds that would like come and fly around. But the biggest one was a condor. I don't know if it has like the biggest wingspan of all birds, but it was huge.
Oh, that's
just
cool,
like right in front
actually.
of you. And I don't think it flies that well either. So it kind of just like glides, like it hopped up on some perches and then like glided across to like grab the food that he threw up in the air.
That's cool. Okay. How does one become like a traveling bird person? Like it's a super unique job, right?
You gotta get a big van. I just don't understand how he travels with them all. I just think that'd be a logistical nightmare.
I mean, big enough to fit a condor wingspan, right?
I truly think that the wingspan of this bird was probably bigger than mine. I mean, obviously it's not that big, like on the ground.
Yeah,
but it's just long, like wide.
No, probably. Yeah, I'm with you. It probably is. Those birds are gigantic. So
yeah, and I don't know if they are scavengers or not, because he had a vulture too, which I don't think was as big.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't go up against a bird. I think I could take a pigeon, but those big ones? Ooh.
No way. No, sir. People are scared of, like, geese,
Oh, I think it's good to be scared of geese, because they'll attack you in, like, there's a lot of them.
They hiss at you as you walk by.
Yeah,
it sounds like
the
a
Untitled
snake
Goose
almost.
Game.
Talking about birds and media, there you go. Untitled Goose Game. Big shout out.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of geese in Seattle, and you just don't screw around with them.
Paul, it's kind of a pseudo goal of mine. Just one day, I don't have any real plans for this, but one day I would like to like befriend a crow.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've heard they're really intelligent.
Super intelligent, and if they like you, they'll bring you shiny things. So I've seen like videos of like people who have crow friends, and the crow will bring them like a quarter, and then the person will give the crow a little treat. So
is that your new get rich quick scheme?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. If you befriend, X amount of crows, and they're all bringing you a quarter every day. That's pretty big. You're making some moolah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that definitely would counteract the amount of bird feed you need to buy. I think that I've heard more people get attacked by crows than I have heard tales of people getting quarters from crows. I think that
yes,
my dad and my sister within the last year have both been attacked by crows because I think we have this little walking path near my parents' house.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that maybe it's in the spring when they lay their eggs, but obviously they're very protective of you, like walking in like the woods near their eggs. So I think that, yeah, they've both been dive bombed.
That's really interesting to hear. And that also leaks into one of my fun facts. So I'm going to hit you with an early fun fact here.
Hans's fun facts, Hans's fun facts, Hans's fun facts with Hans.
Thank you. Just mini fun fact here. Crows actually can recognize human faces. So they can tell if someone is good or bad. Like they label them as good or bad. And the thing is, not
Are
only
crows racist?
What?
Ew, what's a bad face there, Hans? Mine?
Well, I assume someone who walks close to their eggs is someone who's gets labeled bad. But not only do they label someone good or bad, they can also communicate to other crows in their flock, or I guess their murder.
Yeah.
Whether someone is
Nice
good
one.
or bad. Yeah. And then so they can pass it on, and that can cover not only like distances, like tens of miles, but it can also be passed down generations. So if you make one crow mad and they label you as bad person, then you might have crow problems the rest of your life. Is that
I have a crow mugshot.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You are labeled bad person in the crow community. So best of luck to your dad and sister.
I'll have to tell them they can't go outside.
Exactly. Yeah. So Paul, something interesting I thought we could do this episode. You could let me know if you're up for it.
I'm
Birds
down for whatever.
dominate our media, right? I literally can't think of anything that doesn't have a bird in it. Can you?
I'm so confused if this is a bit.
This is a bit. Anyway, I was thinking, Paul, let's make a bird draft. So we'll go back and forth and we'll draft our famous birds. We'll do a list of 5. At the end of this episode, message us, or I'll put out something on our Instagram. I'll put out a poll on our Instagram, and you can vote for who has the better bird draft, me or Paul. Sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can go first. You can set the stage for us.
I'm just really worried that you are going to take mine, so... Okay, I think I have a sleeper hit that I think is amazing, but I'm not going to use it first because I don't think you're going to get it.
Okay,
wait,
what's the
really
criteria
good.
for like best bird? Like most popular, or like birds that I want to be friends with,
Well,
or just like my top 5?
That's kind of up to you. Are you
geez.
gonna play to the audience? Or are you gonna be truthful to yourself? Like, you got to make your own list of 5 here. Okay, I'll start us off. I'm going to go ahead in the first round, drafting for the Hans Orioles. I'm drafting Woodstock from Charlie Brown. He's just a cute little guy.
I think I misunderstood.
Oh, no. Are you drafting types of birds? I think that's totally fair. No, wait, Paul, that's in play too.
My first one that I wrote down was chicken.
I think that's fair. You can take chicken if you want to take chicken.
I'm taking chicken.
Okay.
I promise I'm not taking turkey next.
You know what? I want to make a competitive list. So for my number 2, I'm drafting turkey. So I have Woodstock and turkey, and you have chicken.
I'm good. That's enough. Okay, I'm gonna go in another direction. I'll take a patriotic bird. I'll take the bald eagle.
Bald eagle. Really well done. Okay. This is an audible, so obviously I took a fictional character to begin with, but I like the direction this is going. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take the best bird. I'm gonna take penguin.
Oh, okay.
Was that on your list?
Yeah, that probably would have been next for me.
All right. Want a fun bald eagle fact, Paul?
Yeah, go for it.
The common like screech you hear when you think of a bald eagle.
Caw!
Yeah, that one. That's actually a hawk. That's not an eagle.
Oh, okay. Can you do a bald eagle noise?
Ah!
All right. For my third pick, so I've taken a good one to eat. I've taken a patriotic bird. Now I'm gonna take a fast bird. I'm going with an ostrich.
Ooh.
Big egg, fast, a little shy.
Oh, I really like that pick. Okay. Famous for burying their head in the sand too, right?
Mm-hmm. A little shy, guys.
They're a little shy.
There's some personality there.
Yeah, they're not one to show face. Like they're not life of the party, but they are certainly a fast.
Yeah, when the cops show up,
bird.
They're out of there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Paul, I'm gonna go. You know what? I want to match you. You said fast bird. I'm gonna take fast bird. Ooh, I kind of have two thoughts here, and I'll tell you in a second. I'm gonna go road runner.
Beep beep.
I'm gonna go road runner. Yep, I think so. Not only beautiful fictional character, but in real life they're sick. You know, they're like running across the roads of like New Mexico and Arizona. They're kind of cool.
Oh, they're a real bird.
They are a real bird. Yep.
Oh.
The other direction I thought about going with this was the peregrine falcon, which is the fastest animal in the world.
Oh, like flying speed?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
But I want to stick with Roadrunner. I think it works two ways. Both it's a cool bird and it's a cool fictional character.
All right. I think I'm going to go with another interesting take. I'm going to go parrot because they can talk.
Ooh, okay. Have you ever heard a parrot talk?
Yeah, actually, in Taiwan, the lady who used to cut my hair, she had, I don't know if they were parrots, but they were some sort of talking birds. They were really funny. They would just talk at each other because she had like 3 of them, and she only spoke Mandarin, and I didn't speak enough Mandarin to talk to her. So she would talk to her birds while I would get my haircut. It was very weird.
Would the birds also speak Mandarin?
I think so. Or at least I didn't understand them.
Cool.
They might have been squeaking, but it sounded like Mandarin to me.
To someone who doesn't speak Mandarin. Yeah. I never really thought about
birds
that.
Speaking other languages?
Yeah, because right, you always know like Polly want a cracker, you know? But
that's why I thought of parrot. Even though that might be a parakeet.
Actually, good point. I actually don't know. Man, isn't the wonderful world of birds just so massive and interesting?
It was hard for me to think of 10 birds to put in this list. All right, okay. What's your last one, Hans?
Well, we both got one left. With? Okay, my last bird. I'm gonna go back to what I originally thought this list was gonna be about, and this is my sleeper hit.
I swear, if you take my favorite one, I'm gonna be pissed. I have a really good last one. I'm
gonna go Mr. Ping, Poe's dad from Kung Fu Panda.
That's a good one.
That was the sleeper hit that I originally thought of. So
okay. So I'm not gonna take this one, but this is my one that I wanted to take, but I didn't feel like that fit in with my theme. Was Big Bird.
Oh, nice, yeah.
But my last pick, which I think is gonna seal the deal for me, for the win, is I'm gonna take D from It's Always Sunny.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay. That's really funny. Okay. All right. So here's the draft. And if you're listening, you can vote for which list is better here. On Team Hans, we have Woodstock, who I believe is a canary. I think that's right, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, we have Woodstock, Turkey, Penguin, Roadrunner, and Mr. Ping. And on Team Paul, we have chicken, bald eagle, ostrich, parrot, and D from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So
Go vote.
go vote. Get your votes out now. Okay, Paul. Good draft, I think, from both of us. This is honestly a pretty hard decision. Can I now hit you with some bird fun facts?
Bird fun facts. Bird fun facts. Fun facts with birds. Hans edition.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Paul. All right, so birds obviously need to be light in order to fly, right? They can't be very dense creatures. So something interesting I learned from biology, from freshman biology at the University of Virginia, is that birds have honeycomb bones. They don't have dense bones. They're shaped like honeycombs. That way, they're less dense and can float on the air. For that same reason, they also only have one ovary, because 2 ovaries would make them too heavy.
Are ovaries like specifically heavy?
That's just what evolution determined. 1 ovary was better than being heavy, I guess.
And that's why humans can't fly.
Interesting, right? That's exactly why. So when I was doing research about birds and fun facts about birds, for some reason the internet is obsessed with turkey vultures. Like have you ever heard
bird?
Yeah, like have you heard of turkey vultures before? Like this is all new to me, but there's a density of fun facts about turkey vultures on the internet.
Huh. I've only ever heard of turkey bacon.
Yeah, that's a fair point. A little different this time.
Okay, gotcha. I like turkey bacon.
But anyway, turkey vultures are thought to have the strongest sense of smell of any bird. And in fact, their sense of smell is so strong, and I'm sure they use this to scavenge, right? To, dead things smell. Turkey vultures use it to find dead things. But their sense of smell is so strong that they've been used as an indicator by some gas companies to find gas leaks. Because some of this gas, the byproducts of it smells putrefied. Yep, sulfur smells putrefied. So that turkey vultures will actually swarm around those gas leaks. So pretty interesting. They're a working bird.
Working bird.
Another interesting thing about turkey vultures is that their bodies produce antibodies that make them immune to botulism. And this is extremely important because they eat dead and dying and decaying things, right? That essentially they can eat rotten food and have no consequences. So pretty interesting, right? Maybe there's a medical application to that.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Did you know that horses make anti-black widow spider like antidote?
Horses?
Like anti-venom? Yeah.
How?
I don't know, but
okay.
The company that I worked for before, they make that.
That's
they have
really
horses
interesting.
And they make black widow spider anti-venom.
Okay. I did not know that. That's a good fun fact. Okay.
Yeah, that's a fun fact. I feel like I had to share. I feel like I sit on that one. More people need to know
Paul.
it.
Fun facts with Paul.
Paul has one fun fact.
Paul. Okay, I already told you about crows. I already told you about peregrine falcon. One thing that I haven't mentioned yet is that waterfowls, like the loon, cannot take off from dry land.
Really?
Yep. They have such specialized feet, like little paddles, that they gain tremendous speed in water to take off. But that means they can't take off from dry land. So, pretty interesting. I will say my facts and sources are from all over the internet, including Reddit. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. But pretty interesting, right?
That's pretty cool. Is that the same for like ducks? No, I've seen ducks take off from dry land.
Yeah, I think ducks are okay. Yeah.
Mallards.
Getting to the bottom of the story here is don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. Anyway, Paul, do you want to hit us with some bird resources?
If you put out bird feed in front of your window on one of those little like suction cups, you can get birds to come to your house.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to Home Depot, they have a lot of different types of bird feed that I guess will attract different birds.
Okay.
So if I had a resource, I would say put different bird feeds in front of your house and see what birds live in your local area.
I do love when people have the sugar water hummingbird feeders hanging
I don't
up.
know if hummingbirds are everywhere, so I don't know if that would work in my area.
Okay. That's a
I
good
wonder
point.
if they're everywhere.
That's
But
a
there are
good
definitely
point.
birds.
Yep, they're absolutely birds. I would say watch March of the Penguins. That's specifically directed at you, Paul. Watch
Oh, me.
March of the
Okay.
Penguins. Yep, that is a beautiful movie. A little melancholy, but you should watch it. And then I think you should watch Planet Earth and the mating rituals of birds in Planet Earth because they
Oh,
are
yeah.
fascinating. Yep, the dancing, the colors, a lot goes into it. I even remember that like one episode has a bird that literally has wingmen. So like like backup dancers, I think.
That's funny. I don't remember that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny that we're both wearing white shirts today, but I just like that all the male birds are so colorful.
Yeah, definitely. You gotta attract a mate somehow, right? Awesome. Okay, Paul, with that in mind, we're gonna have Rebecca Young join us after the break. Welcome back, everybody. Joining us now is my friend from PT school, Rebecca Young. Huge shout out to Rebecca, very special guest because she is the one who made our very own podcast art.
Oh,
So very special guest joining us now. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for coming on. Obviously, Rebecca, we're here to talk about birds.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
My favorite topic.
Yes, absolutely. Please introduce yourself and introduce a little bit about what you're here to talk about today.
Okay, well, we also have another very, very, very special guest, even more so than me. You forgot to introduce him. He's sitting right behind me as we speak. But my name is Rebecca, and as Petey said, I met Pete in PT school. And behind me is my beloved Randolph Leonardo Young, my son, my 5-year-old cockatiel who comes with me everywhere. Emotional support cockatiel.
That's amazing. You have a bird with you. I think that's the first time in our podcasting history that we have two guests. One of which is very related to the topic today.
I mean, he's got feathers, so I don't know what more you want. He can talk a lot, too, so...
Oh, we'll have to get some good clips of that.
We will
we are
try.
so getting into that.
He might. You never know.
Absolutely.
Sometimes he just whips it out.
Well, Rebecca, I have a really broad question to start.
Okay.
So, just do your best here, but how did you get into birds?
That's a great question, Petey. It all started back in 2nd grade. My dad,
Okay.
yep, we
Uh-huh.
go way back. My dad was working in his garage, and he was a construction worker, so he did a lot of his work outside. And this, little light blue parakeet just came flying into the garage and landed on his head. Naturally, my dad is a crazy animal person, an animal whisperer, so he somehow captured the bird, and we kept him, and then my brother named him Bird Brain, and then...
The bird or your dad?
The bird!
Sorry, you set me up. I'm sorry for that. Keep going.
So we kept him, and then suddenly, before you knew it, we had 17 birds.
17.
Oh my gosh.
And
Really?
then my dad built an aviary, the span of what's behind me, so probably 8 feet by 4 feet, an aviary in our kitchen.
Oh,
So-
Birds. Did he catch them all?
No, so some of them we got from a bird show, which actually those 2 birds just passed away last year and the year before. So, and then some of them we adopted, some of them we rescued, some of them we bought at stores, but it was cockatiels, conures, parrots, bungees, and lovebirds.
That is amazing. Wait, so this all started almost on a whim because a bird flew onto your dad's head?
Yep. on a whim. Like, super random. And we had 2 dogs and a cat, so, like, wasn't really the ideal home for birds at the time, but we made it work. And we had some tragedies, but, I mean, accidents happen, I guess, but there was a moment there where I was really bitter towards dogs and cats. Let's just say that.
Okay, so you picked a side.
Yeah, oh yeah. I've always been a bird. I mean, from, like, probably since I was born, I, like, always was, and then that just sent it off, and then it became a full-blown obsession.
Rebecca, do you have any particular memories about birds in your aviary growing up?
I do. Okay, so this is, like, gonna sound so weird, but my brother and I used to host bird Olympics with our with our birds. So, like, while normal kids were, like, building Legos and, like, playing baseball outside, we were playing bird Olympics with our birds. And we would, like, set them up. We would have teams, and we would set them up on, like, a staircase or, like, an ottoman, and whoever threw off the most hair ties won. And then we did one where, like, who flies the farthest.
How did you set that one up?
We had, like, a long kind of, like, I don't know what you would call it. It wasn't like a hallway, but, like, just, like, open space at the front of the house. And we would just use that as, like, a straightaway.
And you, like,
max speed.
Yeah, speed, like, see who can fly the farthest.
Did a 10-meter walk, a 10-meter fly.
Who won? What bird won?
I can't remember. I mean...
Did you guys, like, have teams? Like, do you have, like, your 9 birds and he has his 9 birds?
Pretty much, but we would do, like, the whole thing where it's like, you picked a bird, I picked a bird. You picked a bird, I picked a bird. Tweety,
oh my gosh, it was a draft.
It was a draft. Tweety was really good at the hair tie flinging. So, you always wanted him on your team for that. Now, Zephyr was a good flyer, so much, in fact, that he flew away, which was really devastating. And speaking of, Dolph is a really good flyer as well. So, I gotta be real careful with him.
Can you tell us more about Dolph? Like, how old is Dolph? When did you get him? What have you guys gone through together?
Oh gosh, we've been through a lot. So I got him actually with an ex-boyfriend, and you best believe we fought over him when we broke up.
Oh
so
my
we got
gosh,
him like
okay.
5 years ago when I lived in Orange County, and we got him from like a little bird shop, and I just fell in love. Like, there was a box, like a big box of little baby cockatiels, and like, I literally just saw him. He was like kind of small, and I could just tell there was a level of sass there, and I needed that. I needed some spunk.
How did you know Dolph had sass?
He has an attitude eyebrow on the left side,
okay.
And like, I just knew the second I saw the attitude eyebrow. And he was, I mean, I'll have to send photos into the podcast so you can post them so people can
Absolutely.
see. Oh my
Please.
God. I mean, he gets cuter with age, but he was a cute baby. So, yeah, then I, like, obviously won the fight and kept him. And then we lived with my dad for a couple years in Loomis, California, up north. And then when I got into Northwestern, you best believe he made the 4-day road trip across the country with me and my dad.
Oh, he couldn't have just flown that himself?
I mean, yeah, but like, he probably would have never come back, so. But yeah, and like snuck him into a bunch of hotel rooms, which was pretty difficult to say the least.
Oh my gosh, Rebecca, you rebel.
I know. I had to
you
cover.
You walk by the front desk whistling, pretending you would not be a bird.
No, that's exactly what I did. How did you know that?
I guess it makes sense.
And now he's in Michigan with me, so he's a traveling bird. I mean.
So how old is he's 5 years old?
He's 5.
Wow. I mean, the sassy makes sense, right? I know we were talking about this before I think we started recording, but he just stares at himself, which I guess he's not doing right now.
Yeah.
He just stares at himself. He's very, like, Valley Girl.
Yeah, he's actually staring at himself and his reflection in this, I call this his apartment. He might start singing for us. Yeah, he has the setup, the loft with the artwork upstairs. So
is that like
classy.
a little vanity mirror for him, or what's he doing?
So this is his mirror.
So he really is staring at himself.
And at home in Chicago, he has like a full like whatever you call that,
Like a body size.
body mirror. Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay.
So,
I think that's big enough to be a body mirror for him right now. But
honestly, it is, but he has knocked it off before because he has bouts of angriness where he just
they're
has.
not called zoomies for birds.
It's just extra attitude. The attitude eyebrow is out to play, and so you got to be careful for that because it can happen when you least expect it.
I love that Randolph has so much personality.
He does, and that's the other thing I feel like people don't know is that birds have very unique personalities. They are all so different. So I just happened to pick the sassy one.
So how did he feel about the move from sunshiny, warm California to dark most of the day Chicago?
Honestly, my apartment, which Petey, you've been to my apartment before in Chicago, right? On Michigan. There was an entire wall of mirrors. So he did just fine.
So
if
he
anything,
enjoyed it.
He likes Chicago better than California.
I'm sensing a theme here.
He was pretty content. And he has free roam wherever we go. So there's that too.
Okay, I have a question about bird home care.
Yes.
Is there anything you have to do to keep a bird in your house? Do they know to stay inside? I know you said one flew away, but do you have to do anything with the birds to make sure they don't fly out an open window or sneak out a doorway?
Yeah, it's tricky because I moved in with my boyfriend and his best friend, and neither of them have ever lived with birds, obviously, because it's just not a normal thing out here, I guess. And so I had to sit down and give them the whole spiel, no open doors, just be really careful. He's usually pretty good about staying in his space. But I feel when birds feel threatened is really when they will take off and try to escape. So usually when he's just content, hanging out, and there's no threat around him, he'll just kind of stick to his area, even within the room. But I think when they feel threatened, when my bird flew away, the reason that happened is because the gate to the aviary broke open and the dogs were obviously chasing them and stuff. So he was
okay.
He got out that way. And we used to keep the back door open for the dogs in the house, and obviously the aviary door was supposed to be shut, but stuff happens. And then other than that, it's just making sure there's no toxic things in your house, candles and Teflon pans can be really toxic, certain air perfumes. So they're very, very delicate creatures.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. That's not something that I would have thought of personally, but that does make sense. Yeah.
Because their respiratory tract is really delicate. They have two air sacs rather than lungs. So it's just a different system that they're working with. So no smoke, period. No flames. Keeping them away from that as much as possible. But
Randolph doesn't like smokers.
No, sir. We're a smoke-free household in here.
Good, nice and healthy.
Yep, no weed, nothing like that.
Yeah, that might be more common in Chicago. You're right. So,
yeah.
Rebecca, if you wouldn't mind, I don't want to speak for Paul, but for me certainly, I don't know a ton about birds.
Okay.
So I just got a lot of questions about birds for you, and I just love to hear what you have to say.
Hit me, Petey, hit me.
For the record, all I'm working off is Planet Earth episodes.
Yes, me too.
Well, I will try my best to answer your questions.
But you actually do have a really unique background in caring for birds, right? Yeah. Would you mind explaining a little bit about that?
Yeah, so back in 2016, something like that, I found a bird sanctuary in Southern California when I lived down there called the Lily Sanctuary. So I volunteered with them for years, and they basically housed homeless birds. One bird we found was a blue and gold macaw who was found on a ladder and just abandoned and had no feet and just was left. And yeah, really crazy stories like that. People just don't treat them with respect like other animals. They just, I don't know, people are messed up. So lots of stuff like that. And we would take them in. There was like probably 50, if not more, birds in this lady's house, like all downstairs, multiple cages, took up her whole bottom floor of her house,
Mm-hmm.
full of like cockatoos, macaws. I mean, all kinds of like exotic birds. And so I would go every Sunday and just like help clean cages, make their food for the week, help clean like just the environment and just hang out with them. And it was literally the best time of my life. Like I miss it so much. um,
Yeah.
so I learned a lot about exotic birds when I worked there, and then that's where like my love for exotic birds started was at that sanctuary, specifically
Mhm.
cockatoos. So
And when you say exotic bird, what does it mean for a bird to be exotic?
it's like a bird you'd find in a tropical environment, like macaws,
Mm.
cockatoos. Cockatoos are native to Australia, so like they are just like wild there. And
So
then like macaws.
is there something about birds being tropical that people like them more? I don't know if that's like the right way to put it, but I feel like a lot of people's pet birds that I've ever seen are some version of like a cockatoo, or you have a cockatiel, or like a parakeet. These like really small, colorful birds.
Great question. I should probably look into that myself because I really don't know.
Yeah, I don't. It's just something I've noticed. I don't know where everybody's birds come from, but I'm assuming like
Right.
PetSmart or something.
A lot of bird shops, but like a lot of rescue places too. And just like they live for a long time, so sometimes owners pass away and they like give them to a different owner, or sometimes they get passed on to like other family members, stuff like that, who are willing to take them in.
So, what kind of lifespan on average, does a bird have? Just curious.
It varies.
And I know it probably depends, right? But
It does. Hey, our favorite saying.
Hey!
It depends.
That's a PT school joke.
But
You just want a straight answer out of your doctor, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah.
Story of our lives. Try going to PT school. It's really fun. But yeah, it like parakeets, for example, the one that my dad caught, those only live anywhere from like 7 to 10 years. But then like Dolph, anywhere from like 20 to 30 years. The males typically live a little bit longer, which is interesting, and I don't know why. Bigger birds like cockatoos and like macaws. Cockatoos are like 60 to 90 years. Macaws can be like all the way up to 100.
Holy
and then
cow.
Yeah, it's pretty like, and then there's like conure families that live in that like 40 to 60 range.
That was actually longer than I expected. And again, this is coming from a guy who doesn't know anything about birds. But yeah, that's really interesting.
Hence why a lot get rehoused.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Owners die before they do, and then they, have nowhere to go.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Wild.
Rebecca, how do you feel about pigeons?
I love them.
I love pigeons too. Okay.
I don't discriminate. I don't know what's wrong with people. When they call like birds flying rats, or like they've been calling birds like fake lately, like thinking they're like robots. I'm like, fuck you.
Yes.
Fuck you. You're a fucking robot. Pisses me off.
This is the most lit up I've seen Rebecca.
Seriously though, like it gets my blood immediately when someone says that. I'm like, we're not gonna be friends. Like we're just not gonna get along.
If you say pigeons are bad birds, then you need to self-reflect.
No, not even that. The robot thing.
Okay.
That sends me.
You heard it here first, folks. Birds are real, okay?
Like, I met this girl, I can't remember where it was, and I was like, oh, she's so cool, we could totally be friends. And then she made that comment, and I was like, nope, that's it, written off. You can be an acquaintance.
You'll never make it the friend here.
No.
It's impossible.
Which is actually really funny, because, like, a lot of my friends are deathly afraid of birds. But they never say they're not real. So,
okay,
that's the difference.
That's the big no-no. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, just my little side rant there, but
Rebecca, I have another question that I'm very interested in.
Okay.
Paul kind of alluded to it
I'm
earlier.
kind of nervous for this.
I'm nervous about it too.
Me too.
What are you
did
gonna
I
ask
do?
me?
Paul alluded to it earlier, but the only exposure I've had to birds is from like planet Earth.
Okay.
And just like the cool, like colorful, beautiful looking
Are you
birds.
gonna ask me the mating question? Just spit it
Yeah,
out.
but they always focus on the mating in planet Earth. So I'm just curious, like, do you have any insight into unique bird mating dances? I know, like,
You don't have to act them out.
No,
you don't have to act them out.
I don't know a lot. I've looked this up before, but then every time I do, I feel so gross because like Dolph is just like my child. He's just a baby. But like, it's interesting actually. Females, and this isn't for all species, but most are like usually like the uglier of the bunch. Like they are muted colors. Nothing special, but the males have like the very colorful feathers, like they look really pretty, and that's because they do the mating. So they find their spouse, usually through dancing. That's like the main thing. I mean, they can dance. Look up a peacock mating dance and you'll see what I mean. It's pretty fabulous. But I can't tell you the specifics of like how
No. We don't need a
Fair.
bird and bees.
how the egg gets produced and
No, that's okay. I swear I was talking about the dancing.
but as far as I know, it's dancing. I think there's other things they do, but
So the females got to be selective, so the males have to look
The males
pretty
gotta
and
work.
learn how to dance. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
the females just sit back and look pretty.
I just remember my favorite one was this one bird who had to like clean up his like room basically, and then I think he had like this weird colored neck that he like went like this and then started kind of shaking back and forth. But it only looked good because he like cleared the floor.
I love the. Thank you for the reenactment too, Paul.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I wish people could have seen that. Too bad this is
I
a
think it helps.
podcast.
That's really funny. But kind of going off that, how about like any kind of like unusual or interesting behaviors you've observed in like either Randolph or any other birds you've worked with?
You know, the weirdest thing that I have noticed, especially working in like Randolph doesn't do this, but they like regurgitate food, which is honestly really weird. Like one of the birds at the sanctuary, Rojo, he was like this huge, huge red and green winged macaw, and he loved me. I mean, like, loved me. And he would, like, literally, it's like they're vomiting. Like, he would, like, regurgitate whatever food he had, and it's, like, their way of expressing love and, like, caring for you.
Oh, like feeding like a baby kind of?
It
regurgitating?
must be.
Do all birds do that?
No. Just, like, honestly, at least from my experience, the only birds that I've noticed are, like, the exotic birds. Like, really macaws. And cockatoos can do it, too. But, yeah, very gross experience. You feel very flattered, but, like, you don't want it.
That's so
Yeah, I don't
interesting.
need vomit.
So, yeah. And then, like, I'm trying to think of other weird behaviors. I mean, sometimes Dolph will just get the zoomies, like a dog, and just do, like, laps. Like, just fly and scream. He just flies and screams. You just sit there and you wait, and then about, like, a minute or two goes by, and then he gets tired, and then he's good. He just had to get it out of his system.
Okay.
And, yeah, other than that, I don't know. What else? What other weird stuff do you do? You're a piglet, I know that. Yes, you're a big old piglet. Yeah, you.
Oh, he's talking to us.
Yeah. We talk.
Wait, does Randolph know any like tricks, or like would he be able to like be summoned if you wanted him to? Like, can you call him over or anything?
If I start whistling, he might.
Okay.
Let's try. He knows if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. And he does that part, like the tapping with his beak.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Sing for us! Come on! Now he's just looking at me with attitude. He's like,
That's
I
okay.
sing when I want to sing. The
I think
attitude
he's looking
eyebrow
at himself too.
is
He's
up.
nervous.
Yeah, he knows he has a crowd, which usually doesn't stop him, but...
He's nervous to be on the podcast. That's okay.
He
We
is.
try to make all our guests comfortable here.
Maybe he feels excluded. That's actually a good point. We totally... And the headphones, like, that's kind of rude. I'm totally blocking him out, but... Sorry.
Rebecca, I want to know, what is your Mount Rushmore of bird species?
My Mount Rushmore, like my dream bird?
Yeah, dream birds. Or top 4 birds.
My top, which I plan to get when I'm retired because it's like having a full-blown toddler, is an umbrella cockatoo.
Okay.
And
Cool.
the reason behind that is because when I worked at the sanctuary, fell in love first with Joe. He was my first love. Umbrella cockatoo, handsome guy. But then he got adopted. So then I fell in love with Shosho, and we had this, like, unspeakable bond. Like, everyone who worked there knew. Like, it was, like, insane. We loved each other. And then COVID hit, so, like, you know, that kind of fucked everything up. But, like, I've never forgot my love for those two. So,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
that's number 1. Number 2, it's tied. I really love hyacinth macaws, which are like these huge blue, beautiful, I highly recommend you look it up, macaws, or a black palm cockatoo.
Okay.
They're very expensive and very unique. Like, there is not as many.
Is the macaw the same one that's in Rio? It looks just like the bird from Rio. Yeah.
But there's different kinds.
Cool. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I think the one in Rio is a blue and gold macaw because he's blue, right?
Well, this one's blue.
And then there's like maybe it is the hyacinth, actually. I think you're right. And then there's like the blue and gold, there's red and green wing macaws, and then there's scarlet macaws, military macaws. It goes on. All kinds.
Bro, Rio was a Spix macaw, S-P-I-X.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
Oh, they're
Interesting.
extinct.
Oh.
In the wild.
Okay.
But they exist somewhere.
Okay. Probably Brazil, which is where the movie is. 10 out of 10 movie, by the way. Highly recommend. Except they make the cockatoo evil, which kind of pisses me off, but whatever.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
The cockatoo's super cute, too. I was just
I
looking at all the birds you were
know.
talking about.
Would you have preferred if the antagonist was a dog or a cat in Rio?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Absolutely.
thought so.
I was a little offended, but we let it go.
Well, you had the protagonist, too, so...
Right.
Also, Rebecca, when you say that like these birds are incredibly expensive, are people like in the United States breeding these birds and selling them, or is it like a case of they're capturing and shipping these birds, or like what do you mean by expensive?
It could be either of those.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of shops breed them, and they can go. They're in the thousands. I can tell you that.
Okay.
Like I want to say cockatoos are around like that $2,000, which it's probably gone up by now since all of this like inflation. But like hyacinth macaws, I mean, we're talking upwards of like $10,000. I'm like
Whoa.
pretty sure. Let me
Okay.
Google it so that I'm
Okay.
not just speaking out of my butt. Hyacinth macaw cost. Yep, $10,000.
Jeez. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it does say, so like one site says around 10,000, but this other link says it ranges from 5,000 to over 30,000. So
Wow. Interesting. I'm sure it depends on probably the individual bird itself then, right?
yeah, there's probably like, you know, their age, stuff like that. And then black palms are like 10,000 to 2,300. Or sorry, 23,000. Yeah, pretty crazy.
That is really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, Dolph was a good old $200.
Yeah, and he seems like he's worth way more.
Oh my god, he's worth.
He's
like,
priceless.
I would give my life. I mean, he is everything to me. Anyone who knows me knows that.
That's funny. And Rebecca, what is your fourth and final bird to round out your Mount Rushmore?
My fourth and final.
Have to draw the line somewhere.
I mean, honestly, I would probably buy like another Dolph. Like, I really do love cockatiels.
Yes.
Like, I just think
cockatiel. Yep.
I just think they're like such fun little companions. I mean, me and Dolph are two peas in a pod.
Is Dolph gonna get a girlfriend?
No, because I don't want him to get all like horny and weird. So, no. But maybe a bro, and I've already thought of the name for the bro. But Matt won't let me get another bird, so we gotta, make sacrifices for the ones we love. But if he did have a brother, I'd name him Chester.
Okay.
Yeah, just in case you were wondering.
Lock that one away.
Yep.
Okay, so as we were looking into this, I was thinking about bird movies, and the one that kept coming back into my head was the one, gosh, what was it called, Hans? I found it at some point. Oh, The Big Year.
What is it?
It's called The Big Year. I don't know if it's not Adam
Big
Sandler.
Year.
I feel like it's it's basically a movie about these two guys, maybe three guys that are having like a midlife crisis, and they basically compete over who can see the most different species of birds.
Oh, it has Owen Wilson and Jack Black.
Owen Wilson.
And Steve.
Yeah.
Honestly, Owen Wilson is not a nice person in real life, but that's a whole other story.
Well, he's fun in this movie.
Okay. And are they bird watchers, it looks like?
So I don't know if they are bird watchers, but in the movie they are. So the whole gimmick is like these three guys compete to see who can see the most birds.
Interesting. I'll have to...
Which I'm sure you haven't done this exact competition, but do you do like bird watching, or do you try to find birds in the wild, or are you more just like a finder of birds in pet stores?
I am always on the lookout for birds. Like, no matter where I go, if I see a bird, it's like an ADHD thing. My brain just immediately has to look at it until it flies away. But I don't like go out into nature and like...
Your binoculars and...
Do you hear him? He's whistling where he was. It'll be on the recording.
He just taps with his beak.
Nice.
But what was I talking about? Oh, but like, I do like bird watch. Like one time at Matt's parents' house, there was a red robin nest, and like I watched this nest for like months. Like every time I'd go to his house or his parents' house, I would like literally sit outside and just watch the like mom and dad fly back and forth and like feed the babies. And like I've saved a few wild birds, like a woodpecker once, a red robin. And then one time I saved a bird on the way to school, Petey. And I tried to take it with me into class, but I ran into, who was it? I think it was like Jen or someone, I don't know, one of our faculty.
That's one of our faculty, yeah.
Yeah, who was like, Rebecca, you can't take that bird. And like, what? Are you out of your mind?
Oh no.
But thank God, I was like, I might be late to class, just FYI. And she's like, okay. I found a number to call, so I called the number. And as I was in the middle of like speaking to someone, the bird just flew away.
Oh, okay.
So that one ended up being okay.
Okay, good.
So yeah, but like, if I'm just walking outside, I'm always on the lookout.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that answered your question, but
I think so. Is there anything like special about birds that you think most people don't realize or take for granted?
I feel like I kind of touched on this earlier, but like they each just have such special little personalities. Like,
yeah,
they're all so different. Like some are very calm and cuddly, some are not. Like Dolph, sassy and like, but so cute. But they are very, very intelligent. Like, doesn't matter what size they are, like they are very smart and like pick up on emotions. And like some of the larger birds, which I didn't mention, cockatiels, as you can tell probably from the recording when you hear him singing, they're very like self-entertained birds. So like when you leave for the day, like he's generally pretty okay by himself. Like he's obviously happier when I'm around and like people are around. But like bigger birds, if you like leave all day and they have no attention for like days at a time, they start to feel neglected and can like start plucking their feathers. It's like they're like deeply anxious, sad. It's like that kind of thing. But it can also be like other things like hormones, diet. So it's not always that. But I feel like big things for people to know too are just like know your bird. Like if something is off, like take them to the vet because they're very good at hiding diseases. So like
Mhm.
you just have to be very like in tune with their normal behaviors, what their droppings look like, and just, any changes that just are out of their norm because it could be something that they're hiding and it's yeah, you just got to be on the lookout. But yeah, they're fun. They're really fun and they're not scary. They're really not scary.
That's definitely the main takeaway from today.
Please.
And also they're real. That's the other main
They
takeaway
are
from
They're
so
today.
they're not
real.
scary.
I'm
They are
curious
so
about
real.
what's the nutrition like for like Randolph?
He, so like, I've tried with this bird, you guys. I have tried to get him to eat a vegetable, a piece of fruit, perhaps. He wants nothing to do with it. But
Okay.
I've gone like creative and I bought him like these seed rings on Amazon that have kale in it twined with it. It's like dried kale, but at least he gets like something in his system. But other than that, he eats seed for the most part, but there's like pellets mixed in too, which have a lot of like vitamins and minerals in them.
Okay.
But like he should be eating more like fruits and veggies. He just doesn't. But he loves popcorn. We usually have popcorn
Okay.
Fridays where we share a bag of popcorn together, aka I eat the whole bag and he has like one piece. Um, he loves scrambled eggs, which is messed up because that's cannibalism. But
That's
happy bird,
crazy.
happy life. Um, and other than that, what else do you like? Yeah, what else do you like? I don't know. I don't know. You tell me. Nah, that's all I can think of for now.
Wait, do birds not? What do birds normally eat?
In
Do
the
they normally?
wilderness,
Yeah, I don't know. Like, do they eat like fruits and vegetables?
they eat a lot of bugs
Oh, I guess that's not really. Well, I mean, it's like how
to get
people
like,
feed like geckos and stuff like bugs. Don't do that
yeah.
with birds.
No, no, I no. They eat even bigger birds eat more like a fresh food diet. Like a lot of people will take like they'll cook up like vegetables and grains and then they'll like blend it in a blender and make like a mash. And they eat a lot of sweet potato, peppers, rice, um, like any sort of fruit really. I think there's probably like a select few fruits that they're not allowed to eat. But it varies by species too. So,
I have like here's a random fun fact. Don't birds not have capsaicin receptors or something so they can eat spicy peppers? Or am I making that up? I swear I've heard that
Chickens.
I
before.
have never heard of that in my life. I don't even know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
so that's definitely a thing for chickens, Hans. They'll put like hot pepper, like like red pepper flakes in their feed to I don't know if it like kills something or it prevents other things from eating it, but yeah, chickens don't.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about
Interesting.
other birds,
I
but definitely chickens.
that was
Hey,
such
I
a
just learned something from you.
look at that.
Maybe you're a
Paul
bird
fun
guy.
fact. Baby Paul's a
That
bird
was you,
guy.
dude. That was
I
you,
think you should
Hans.
get a cockatiel. I can see it sitting on your shoulder
I've
as we
had
speak.
I had Hans, I don't know if you remember this, but one of the guys in our fraternity had a bird when he lived there. I think either the year we lived there or the year before. I really liked this bird. I thought it was pretty fun.
I mean,
It was like a parakeet. I was probably like yay big. It was super cute. He'd come sit on your shoulder and he'd like come and fly to their finger and he'd just like
yeah.
walk him around. It was very
It's
cute.
like you're like Matt, my boyfriend always says he feels like a pirate and it's pretty sick. They just sit on your shoulder. I mean, what more could you ask for?
I
Yeah,
know.
not much.
That's what everybody wants. They
I
want
just
to feel like a pirate.
but
That's
it's true. They were kind of cuddly, or at least that bird was. Sounds like yours is as well. Because like
He
I,
he can be like he has to really trust you. Yeah, it's an earned trust for
Mhm.
sure. And that's another fun fact about birds. They are especially like the more I don't know how to say it like the more advanced species like the cockatoos, the macaws, like they grow like serious bonds with people and then they get very protective over that person. But like they're not all like that. Like some are, some aren't. It just depends. Like that's again goes back to personality. So
He's intruder detection.
yeah,
Better
he
than a
is.
lot of like dogs.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how much he would do, but he'd sing for them.
The ultimate
Early
security
warning, yeah.
system.
Well, while Mama's is getting beat up or something.
Oh,
Well, hopefully
jeez.
not.
He'll be singing if you're happy and you know it. Meanwhile, I'm getting robbed.
Well, Rebecca, this podcast is about jumping into a hobby or a passion every week,
Uh-huh.
right? So,
Yeah.
what is the elevator pitch for getting a bird?
Elevator pitch. I mean, first of all, if you're lonely, get a bird. If you're happy, get a bird. If you want a new friend, get a bird. If you want to talk to someone every single day, get a bird. If you want your own personal stereo of beautiful serenades, get a bird. If you want to feel like a pirate, get a bird. If you want to cuddle, get a bird. If you want something magnificent flying around your house, get a bird.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
It's more like clap your wings.
Nice.
I hate myself.
No, I think that might have been the best pitch ever. Shark Tank who? That was amazing.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, he makes my day every single day when I come home and I see this little face with these orange cheeks. I just get so happy.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, great.
that's amazing. And Rebecca, do you have any plugs, either personal or websites, YouTube channels that involve birds that you want to give a shout out to?
I'll keep it super, super short and simple. So the Lily Sanctuary, where I volunteered at, is a great source. They have Facebook and Instagram. Their website is like way outdated,
Okay.
but you can just Google like the Lily Sanctuary, Fountain Valley. It's in Orange County, California. So they provide like parrot education and they help people find birds and just like adoptions and stuff like that. And then I discovered this place in Chicago because Matt's family lives in Arlington Heights, and there's a store there called Parrot Stars, and they also too, Petey and Paul, have a podcast, and they talk about birds, like talk about how to care for your birds. They do a whole bunch of education, including like training. Like if you're a new bird owner and you want to train your bird, Dolph is unhinged, but that's another story. But like they're a great resource. They have like a veterinarian on site, and so I'm actually going to take Dolph there once we come back to Chicago. And they have all sorts of birds, and they're always posting like really valuable information on all of their web sources. So I think their website, I wrote it on our Google Doc. It's www.parrotstars.com.
Beautiful. Okay. Maybe there's a future collab between This Week I'm Into and Parrot Stars.
I think there's something there.
There could be something there.
Just saying.
Amazing. Rebecca, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for
And
having
Randolph, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
me. He's giving you the look, so he says, he's happy to join and talk about himself and hear me talk about him.
Yeah.
He loves himself.
That's fantastic. Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Hey, folks. I had a chat with our wonderful guest, Rebecca Young, from this episode, and she reminded me that we missed one of the most important things when we were plugging for this episode, which was her bird, Randolph, has his own Instagram. So she asked me, she said she would appreciate if I gave him the shout out. So if you want to follow Randolph the cockatiel on Instagram, he goes by Randolph the cockatiel. You can find him on Instagram. He has over 1,000 followers. So go ahead and give him a follow. And I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the This Week I'm Into podcast, and a huge thank you to Rebecca Young for sharing her passion on birds. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for the next episode, please reach out at thisweekiminto@gmail.com. And please give us a follow on Instagram at thisweekiminto. Please rate us 5 stars and share this episode with a friend. We're doing our best to grow the podcast, and your help really goes a long way. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Welcome, sports fans, to the Bird Olympics. I'm Paul, here to cheer on Team Feather Fury as they claw their way to gold.
And I'm Hans, here to guide Team Winged Wrecking Crew to total domination. Paul, your birds might be big, but speed beats size every time. Shall we introduce the competitors for today's 400-meter dash?
Absolutely. Representing Team Feather Fury, we've got the fastest bird on land, the towering, the powerful ostrich. With legs like tree trunks and a stride to match, this bird was built for the track.
And on my side, representing Team Winged Wrecking Crew, it's the nimble and lightning-fast Road Runner. Small but mighty and always ready to outwit the competition. Let's head to the starting line.
Ah, woo, ah. Look at these athletes, breaking every stereotype about birds. But oh no, ostrich is already showing some nerves. Head buried in the ground?
Meanwhile, Road Runner's playing it cool. Look at that cheeky meep meep. Oh, the snapped ostrich out of it. He's shaking it off and ready to race.
Pow! And they're off. Ostrich explodes out of the gate. Those massive strides are giving him an early lead.
But look at Road Runner weaving through the track, dodging. Wait, is that an anvil falling from the sky? What kind of course has hazards? Our director of competition, Wile E. Coyote, has come up with some interesting ideas for sure.
This feels highly irregular, Hans, but neither bird seems phased. They're powering through. True Olympians.
And we're at the halfway mark, and Ostrich is holding a commanding lead. But wait! What's Road Runner doing? He's veering hard left! Did he see a sign marked finish line?
Oh no, Hans. If he runs into that wall at this speed, it'll be a disaster.
Wait, he just phased right through it? It's not a wall? It's some kind of portal? Here comes Road Runner, blazing through the middle of the track!
And he's across the finish line. Roadrunner wins it, even with Ostrich giving it everything. That last-second portal move was pure brilliance or mischief.
And that, Paul, is why Team Winged Wrecking Crew owns this track. Another gold for us.
You gotta hand it to him. Roadrunner's got tricks up his feathers. Folks, join us for the next event, the High Dive Showdown, featuring the bald eagle and penguin.
Spoiler, one of them doesn't swim. See you then.
Meet.